We did have in our overall media diet, we did see a new Woodstock documentary come out. I think in alignment with, I think the 20-year anniversary or so, maybe 22, 23-year anniversary of Woodstock 99. And this is the now second major Woodstock documentary to hit the streaming platforms. So we've been able to check out both of them. And I would really love to get your perspective after having seen both of them, because you were there.
I was there. I was there with 3 other friends, my girlfriends, Crystal and Kristen, and one of them was dating a guy named John. And at the time, I think the tickets were $200 around, which was a lot of money for us back then. And my friend's boyfriend bought the tickets for all of us because he was like, A, you girls are a lot of fun. And B, if I was ever going to go to something like that and spend that type of money, you girls are the ones to do it with. And having watched the documentary, first of all, it was amazing going down that memory lane, just thinking about seeing all those artists and all those bands. It was really an unbelievable experience. And I did agree. You knew you were part of something historical when you were there. You could just feel it. This was pre-Coachella. This is pre-Bottle Rock. This is pre-Lilith Fair. This was, for us, up to that point, the largest concert ever. And not only that, the lineup was genuine. Like, the lineup are still people who are pulling full crowds now. Mm-hmm. Not people who are trendy. There are people who have managed to keep a career going and have multi-generational fans from that lineup that are still, like, I just went to see Rage Against the Machine again the other day. I just went to see Bush again the other day. I went to see Alice in Chains, who, by the way, the lead singer is a African-American artist. I mean, this lineup was unreal, and we could not wait to get there. It was worth it. Was it as savage as those videos showed? Yes. And at one point, everybody thought that they were going to die there. You couldn't not think that. And because this is pre-cell phones, if you lost your friends, good luck finding them again. Like, there were no polls to be like, here's your tent, here's your this. Like, so we had to make sure that no matter what, we did not lose each other. And there was at least 200,000 people there. Maybe 100,000 paid to get in. But once the fences came down, it was open game. And that place was on fire. I would say the majority of the people were there to see Korn. Limp Bizkit tore that place down. I mean, they were unreal live. As well as, seeing Sheryl Crow, seeing Jewel, like, all of these interesting artists were there, and it was very much worth going. But you did think at one point you may die. You couldn't bring anything in. You couldn't bring any water in. You couldn't bring anything in. So you were forced to buy everything inside. And to some degree, yeah, we brought money, but nobody brought money thinking water was going to be $20 at one point, because they ran out and people just started price gouging. So, everybody rioted and everything broke down, and it was sheer anarchy. And there was music playing in the background, and you knew you were part of history, and you hoped you lived to tell the tale. We were sick for weeks after, from the water, from the shit mud that everybody was running around in. I mean, there was you couldn't just like get out. I mean, you're in the middle of nowhere.
Interesting.
But the lineup and the bands were unreal, and it is one of the best things I've ever done. It was still one of the best decisions I've ever made with going to that.
Walk us through coming in that first day. They took your water and your food and whatever alcohol you brought?
Well, we brought our alcohol in Listerine bottles and dyed it green. We were getting our alcohol in. It was everything else we couldn't get in.
Because current festivals, you can, if it's a camping festival, you can bring your food, you can bring your water, it's with you in your tent. They're not searching your car for that, but they actually.
Well, I think they learned their lesson from Woodstock.
Interesting.
Don't try that again. Don't tell everybody they can't get in and then with food and drinks, and then inside run out of supplies and then price gouge. You're forcing anarchy. And at a certain point, you don't even have anything on you. I mean, you're running around in like bathing suits and shorts. It's not like you're running around with your wallet and debit cards. And it wasn't like that back then. It was just basically, you had what you had. And if you ran out of that, that was it. All you got into it was alcohol and drugs.
Was the whole thing cash
The
only?
whole place was drunk and high. The whole entire crowd. What's amazing is how much damage they were allowed to cause with minimal reaction from law enforcement. I mean, there was fires burning everywhere. They tore down equipment everywhere. They tore down artwork. It was after Limp Bizkit turned that crowd out, literally people were like unconscious. Like the back tents where people were dehydrated, people were collapsing from hunger, dehydration, or ODing. It was madness. It was sheer madness. It's surprising more people didn't die. Tell you the truth. And I wasn't surprised about women getting raped. I'm glad we had a guy with us. I felt safer having at least a guy with us getting through that crowd, because I would say that crowd was 8-1 men.
8-1?
It felt like it.
Quick question. Was it cash only? And so they were gouging you also with the ATMs and the ATM fees on top of that?
I think this is even pre like ATMs. I don't even remember ATMs. I remember just having cash.
Okay.
We should have on my friends that went one time, because they'd remember more, because I did more drugs than they did. But they will remember more the experience and how like you were more excited than you'd have ever been in your life, and you were also completely terrified at the same time, because it was sheer hedonism. Like people were naked, like everybody was on drugs. You were like trapped with 200,000 people. And once you got to a certain section, you couldn't just like get out. It couldn't just be like, excuse me, I'd like to get out of this aisle. It was 200,000 people pressing towards the stage. So once you got into that wave of people, you weren't getting out of there for hours. Even if you tried to it took you hours to get out of there. And good luck remembering where your tent was. So we could not lose each other, because if you lost each other, it's going to take you hours to find each other.
And there wasn't a designated place like find your friends, unless you and your friends organized a meetup point. There wasn't a designated thing.
Right. But good luck after the fences went down and another 100,000 people came in without tickets and just threw down tents everywhere.
They didn't cover that in the documentary.
The security was so outnumbered. They could not have predicted that this many people would have just like rushed this thing. There had to be close to 250,000 people at this. Imagine a concert of 250,000 people just out camping. So there was not enough security to do anything. And there was not enough lights. Like at nighttime, there were certain sections that were just dark. And people are high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fucking high.
What was like the drug, or what were the main kind of drugs?
Acid, X, weed, Special K, Coke, drunk, and then combine it all. And then stand outside and listen to music for 36 hours in the heat.
Now, here's the thing. Everything you just mentioned happens at Burning Man, but they do it without people getting raped and without a riot. And, you still have women running around naked. You know what I mean? It's still hot.
Right.
It's a
right.
bit of
so why was it so savage? Well, I don't know what the demographic makeup of Burning Man is, but I'll say the makeup of that Woodstock concert was overwhelmingly young white boys.
Yeah.
Groups of them.
And at least with Burning Man, you can bring your own water. If you're out of water, someone will help you. It's a lot more communal, like we are here to share this space and take care of everybody type of thing. There's definitely not a price gouging. We're going to charge you $20 for water because people ran out of water situation.
Right.
And when you say clarification, when you say $20 for water, you're talking about a regular ass small water bottle.
I mean, at one point they could charge anything they wanted, because if you had water at all, and then everybody ran out, and what was left, people just flipped over stands and just started taking it, because this was just completely unacceptable. The whole point of this Woodstock thing was supposed to be this peace and love thing. And then you get there and they're like, $10 for everything. And you're like, wait a minute, what happened to the peace and love? And again, I don't think people would have been insulted if water was $1 or if water was, like, we get it. We understand that we live in a capitalistic society, but Jesus Christ, don't make us dump 3 days worth of water and food so that we can go inside and you not have enough security to keep off the extra 100,000 people that came in here, took the supplies that were supposed to be accessible to us who paid tickets in the first place, and then price gouge to make up for that. It was just wrong on so many levels. So I understand the frustration and I understand why a lot of those guys burnt that place down. Was it cool? No. Was there a reason for it? Yes.